Hello everyone! With the release of the 3.30 update, I'd like to discuss some of the changes to the roster. This is the largest non-seasonal patch that we have gotten thus far, in which there are some surprisingly major changes. I will not be going over every change in detail, but rather, I'd be focusing on some of the major trends and potential disruptions to the current meta. This patch has driven some fairly huge reactions from the community due to some relatively questionable changes that we'll get into shortly. For starters, many characters' moves have received damage increases. Hwoarang's punishes in 4-3 and while standing 4-4 both gain minor damage increases. Brian's and Miguel's main lows in quarter circle back 3 and down back 3 respectively also got minor damage buffs. The only exceptions to this are to Akuma's down 4 and Gisa's deadly rave, the latter of which is actually a stealth nerf that wasn't included in the notes. Both of these moves have been long complained about, so it's no surprise there. In addition, many moves that were previously unsafe have also been made safer. Hwoarang's Just Frame Skyrocket can no longer be punished by anyone, while Gisa's back 1-2 is finally unsafe, going from -7 to -12. Some other characters' moves also got slight buffs to their frame data, such as Brian's quarter circle back 3, which went from +4 to +5 on hit. Hwoarang's right foot forward back 2 went from +2 to +4, which now makes his right foot forward 4-4 a true frame trap, and Lei's Dragon 3 was made much safer and more plus on hit. The biggest talked about change though is to the Mishima Electric, which now recovers 3 frames faster on whiff, which we'll get back to in a few moments. Most moves listed in the patch notes didn't get their properties changed, though there are a few key alterations. Lily's forward 3, a key homing move, is now a counter hit launcher. Kazuya's down back 4 now hits grounded opponents, buffing his already incredible Okizeme. Lee's back 3+4 power crush is now a mid wall bounce, though it still falls short when compared to other mid wall bounces, as it is still -15. Anna's full crouch down forward 2 combo pickup is now slightly more consistent. Hwoarang's crouch dash 3 also has an expanded hitbox, allowing you to use it in certain combos like after a race drive spike, while doing more damage and giving better Okizeme than right foot forward down forward 3. Miguel's race drive received a major buff. It now falls in line with the other screw race drives like Shaheen's or Lily's, in that it can be used as a second screw in a combo, buffing his combo damage and wall carry. This is major for a character like Miguel, as his combos are incredibly flexible, oftentimes more so than the other characters with a screw race drive. This makes it automatically shoot up to being among one of the best race drives in the game. The biggest property change though goes to Kazuya and Devil Jin's Hell Sweeps. The biggest cause for outrage in this new patch is primarily due to the Mishimas. Both the Electric and Hell Sweep, which are core moves in a Mishima game plan, have been buffed significantly. The EWGF now recovers 3 frames faster on whiff, which now makes it incredibly hard to launch punish, even if you ducked it on a read. Kazuya's and Devil Jin's Hell Sweeps also got major tracking buffs. Before, you could sidewalk them to the left fairly easily, while now, you have to begin the sidewalk at roughly the initial frame of the Hell Sweep, or use a character with a superior sidewalk like Lily or Zafina. This changes a huge dynamic in the wave dash mix-up, as it makes it much more risky to sidewalk left against it. Not only has the EWGF been reverted to being a low-risk keep-out tool, similar to older Tekkens, but now the only other way to evade the Hell Sweep has been made much less viable. Kazuya's already disgusting 50-50 and Okizeme has only been made much stronger, and Devil Jin, who boasts the best low launcher in the game, has also been made even more scary. Personally, I felt that the patch was overall fairly unnecessary. Based on some of the feedback given from both my local offline community as well as my Discord server, it would seem that the majority of people do not like the changes as well. I would love to see the Mishima buffs reverted and the damage of certain moves to be reduced. However, I do like some of the changes, like to Miguel's race drive, Lily's forward 3, and Lee's back 3+4. So far, the general consensus for the patch is that it is largely unnecessary and targets the wrong things. While some changes make a lot of sense, like buffing Miguel's Rage Drive and nerfing Geese's Deadly Rave, many of the other changes are considered quite questionable. Many moves got minor increases in damage, and in a game where general damage, especially in combos, is already considered fairly high, this was a questionable choice to make. Similarly, the change to Mishimas is largely considered overdone, even by Mishima players. Devil Jin in particular was a contender for getting buffs in this patch, and even though he did, many consider the buffs he received to be targeting the wrong issues. The Electric and Hell Sweep were already ridiculously good, and a good balance patch generally makes a character have to use more of their toolkit. But these changes seem to do quite the opposite, as Mishima players already had to heavily rely on the EWGF and Hell Sweep anyway. On the other hand, other characters like Brian, Hwarang, or Ling, who many already consider to be fairly strong, received buffs, while other characters like Gigas, Lars, Kuma, and Eliza were left untouched. Characters that were also expected to be nerfed, such as Julia, Jin, Paul, and Elisa, were all similarly left untouched. Many of the changes in this patch are fairly reserved, so it's unlikely that we'll see a change in the tournament scene. Akuma will likely still remain a tournament favorite, since he went largely unchanged. And Geese's comeback potential, while slightly worse now with his nerfed Deadly Rave, is still the best in the game. The biggest winners out of this patch seem to be Hwarang, Lee, Miguel, Anna, and of course the Mishimas, in particular Devil Jin and Kazuya. However, these characters never really had much of a tournament presence to begin with, and that is unlikely to change, as the changes are, for the most part, fairly minor, though the exceptions being with Hwarang, Kazuya, and Devil Jin. At this given time, it's hard to say whether the Mishimas will become more popular as tournament characters. Kazuya is still a very risky character that has to gamble for his reward, and Devil Jin still has to work hard to get major damage in. As such, we will have to wait and see when the Tekken World Tour starts to have a solid grasp on how the current meta evolves. Thank you everyone for watching this quick video. A big shout out to those in my offline community for giving their opinions on the changes to their characters. I will also be labbing Fahkumram soon and making videos on him, so do stick around for that content. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Take care.